You go, girl. Up from the bottom, being a part of Dead Sarah, to fronting Linkin Park, the first ever female-fronted band to headline Download Festival, which is nuts. Hey everyone, Brendan the Blind Guy here, and welcome to the Boombox. Just give me that! Boom, boom, boom. Just give me that! Boom, boom. Okay, so today we're going to be talking majority about the women. Yeah, you go, girl, you go. But first, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a boom. As I realize that there's no one else to blame. You keep me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, So there are so many good quality female-fronted bands and solo artists in the rock and metal scene now that it's no longer a niche topic. So like 10-15 years ago, to be more inclusive of women's rights and to kind of go, okay, women need to be included in these things, which they do. They really do, because there are so many incredible women out there offering the world so much, not just in the music scene, but around the whole world. So hats off to you, ladies. But in the music scene, it's no longer niche, where promoters of festivals are no longer like, okay, look, we don't have any female artists on this lineup. We now need to shift through needles in the haystack to try and find a suitable female artist. It's now like, okay, well, these incredible bands and artists happen to be touring at the moment, and they happen to be female fronted. There is so much to choose from. So from Linkin Park, fronted by Emily Armstrong, which, yes, Linkin Park were already well established, I should say, before Emily came along. For those who don't know, Emily was previously part of a band called Dead Sarah, which is an incredible band in their own right. Apart from Linkin Park, you've got Evanescence, fronted by the incredible Amy Lee. You've got Spirit Box, fronted by Courtney LaPlante. And you've got Halestorm. Fronted by my heart set Lzzy Hale. And you've got The Pretty Reckless, fronted by Taylor Monson. You got Babymetal. I'm not even going to try and pronounce those names. And the list goes on and on and on. Believe me, please check out all of the incredible female-fronted bands in the rock and metal scene. Like, seriously, if there was a festival in Australia, all of female-fronted rock and metal bands, Linkin Park, Evanescence, Babymetal, Halestorm, The Pretty Reckless, Poppy, Spirit Box, As December Falls, Red Hook, that's 9 at the top of my head, where I would pay good money for that festival. And it's not necessarily because they're female fronted, it's because they're incredible musicians, incredible bands. So previously, rock and metal was a very male dominated scene. Now, women are really stepping up and go, hey, we can scream, we can belt out those tunes like Devilskin. So Jen from Devilskin, some of the guttural roars she does puts a lot of men to shame. And then you've got Lacuna Coil, Christina Scabia. Even though she doesn't scream, her incredible voice balancing out Andrea's guttural roar, perfect. And I honestly think a lot of bands should kind of collaborate with a lot of these women who've got these incredible voices that might not necessarily scream, but bring such an amazing new element to the rock and metal scene. A new dynamic. Quickly, before we move on from the girl power talk, so speaking of Download Festival, from 2024, so the only notable big female-fronted band that I saw on that lineup was Babymetal. Then, if you go to 2025, it had Within Temptation plus Spirit Box. And then this year, the cherry on top of the cake, my two all-time favourite bands, Linkin Park and Halestorm. But not only that, you had the Pretty Reckless, who have been basically at the top of my wish list for many years. I would love to see them live. On top of that, you had Babymetal again. So 4 epic female-fronted bands, headliners in their own rights.
Linkin Park have headlined Download multiple times.
Yeah.
This is the first time you're doing it as a female-fronted band,
Yes.
which has made history. How does that feel?
So I'll start with the fact that I don't feel like I should be answering the question that Emily should be answering. So I went and asked her, because she can't be here right now. So I asked her, and she said if it wasn't us, it would have just been somebody else, because there's so many great female-fronted bands. But she's so grateful. She wanted you guys to know she's so grateful that she is the one, and that she'll remember it forever.
So what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So what are some other amazing female artists and female-fronted rock and metal bands that have been killing it and need to be a little bit more appreciated? Okay, moving on slightly. So a while ago, I covered how my favorite question to ask artists in my interviews is what the most hilarious, priceless, what the F moment on their music career is. And I have heard so many priceless, hilarious stories that I'll never forget. But I thought, on the topic of female-fronted artists and bands, I'll give you a taste of a couple that I've heard from females over the years that really stick out to me. First, Lzzy Hale, when I was lucky enough to do a phone interview with her back in 2019, leading up to Halestorm's appearance at the only download festival Australia has had. So Lzzy was telling me that the what the F moment she could think of on the phone was when the band were playing, I think, at the O2 Arena in London, or an arena similar to that. So they were headlining it, and RJ, the drummer, wanted to be all badass and look like he's chugging a bottle of vodka on stage in between songs. But what the crowd didn't know is that he actually tipped the vodka out into water bottles on the tour bus and then put the water in the vodka bottle. So then on stage, he's chugging from this vodka bottle, but it's only water. And of course, it's like a rock star moment. But Lzzy Hale, being the responsible older sister that she is, got the water bottles that had vodka and put one of them, swapped it with RJ's personal water bottle for when they finished the show and went back to the tour bus. So Lzzy and the rest of the boys are sitting there going, "Don't laugh, just keep a straight face." And RJ goes, "Oh, what a massive performance, I'm so sweaty." And they're going, yeah, don't grin. And he takes a swig and goes, "Pah!" And they all burst out laughing, ha ha ha. Funny times, all good. Next morning, they're driving along and they're having their coffee, and the band goes, "Oh, our coffee tastes really disgusting. What's going on?" And then the tour bus driver has to pull over because he didn't realize that when he was making the coffee for the band, he was using the water bottles that Lzzy actually replaced with vodka. So the driver was a little bit under the influence, and Lizzy's a bit like, "Whoopsie, that backfired a bit." And also, speaking of Devilskin, fronted by Jen, so when I did a phone interview with her, I think the same year, 2019, she was saying that back in the day, she used to, drink a lot after shows, and she was a party girl. The band were in their tour bus and they were drinking, and she was, you know, quite wasted. And they drive past a Macca's or near a Macca's, and she goes, "Oh my God, McDonald's! I'm hungry. We need to stop. McDonald's!" And so they park the tour bus in the car park. She gets out and she's like, "Oh, I need to pee." So in the car park, she just drops her ducks and starts peeing. And then as a prank, the tour bus starts leaving. And pissed off her face, with her pants down, bent over, she goes, "Wait, don't leave without me!" Trying to chase after the tour bus, and the rest of the band are just pissing themselves laughing. Oh my God. Definitely check out the full interviews with those incredible ladies on the Key Knife for Concerts website or via the link below. Okay, and finally, to wrap things up, so some good touring news. So, well, first of all, international band Faith No More have teased a reunion. Now, I remember catching Faith No More headlining day one of Soundwave Festival in 2015. And back then I had enough sight to see on my big screen a press release photo of the band. And I remember thinking, those guys kind of look like my grandfather. And I'm listening to their music. You want it all, but you can't have it. And doing all the hip-hop gangster verse, and I'm like picturing my grandfather doing that, acting all hardcore and rock, and I'm just laughing to myself like, that just doesn't match up in my mind. It really doesn't. But then they play Easy Like Sunday Morning, and it's like, yeah, that's what you'd expect, but still, nonetheless, it will be amazing that these guys are coming back and touring again, because such a good band. And finally, big touring news, Red Hot Summer is returning in October, featuring Australian Crawl, the first shows they've done in 40 years. Plus, it will have Men at Work, Eskimo Joe, and Birds of Tokyo. So check out all of the details on the Key Knife for Concerts website. Well, until next time, thanks heaps for watching, and again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a boom. And until next time, keep a keen eye for concerts and bring on the boom! Just give